Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for another edition of Let's Argue, where I go on the internet, I accept your hot takes, your unpopular opinions, your tough questions, I respond to the best ones, but in this video, I specifically asked you guys, what's your worst album of the year? And this is what y'all said. The MGK album, yeah, it's definitely close. Fell in love with an emo girl. Fell in love with an emo girl. Harry's House, purely because people overhyped it. I was seeing album of the year shouts when it was just bland radio fodder packaged as an album. I don't think the album's radio fodder. I don't. I think Harry put some legitimately, creative effort into the aesthetics of the record. There are just songs on there where the songwriting isn't great. There's some good tracks, some hits on there. I think the opening track is really good, actually. One of my favorite Harry songs of all time. Far from worst of the year. And just because people overhype something doesn't mean it's bad. Something can be overhyped, but still be okay. Hellfire, every build-up instrumental-wise, ends with no cohesion and feels like a shitty attempt to showcase skill not focused on sound. What? Oh, let me reframe this a little bit. There we go. I don't agree. I don't agree. I think there is quite a bit of instrumental cohesion to the record from front to back. And on top of it, while there is a lot of flash, there is a lot of virtuosity, there's a lot of skill on the album. It's not like, some kind of like needly, noodly fucking shred fest or anything like that. It's a jazz fusion record. I think the band plays together very tightly for the most part on the album. Of course, there are chaotic moments that are meant to sound noisy and sort of off the rails and everything like that. I think the band is coming together into a very focused vision on this LP and making some genuinely weird and unique rock music. Don't agree at all. Viva Las Vengeance was so bad it made me delete all of Panic's music from my library. W for you, if you want to do that. But on top of it, I don't think Viva Las Vengeance was all that bad. I mean, I thought that Brendan's attempt at going for a more kind of classic, organic, instrumental style led to a lot of good backdrops to the songs. To me, the biggest Achilles heel to the project is that Brendan's vocals were annoying, but it's a Panic record. I kind of go into it anticipating he's gonna have annoying vocals. So I feel like if this one went too far for you, how did you make it to this point? But I've never really been a huge Panic fan, so take anything I say about that album or my perspective on it or why it works or doesn't work for me with a grain of salt. That's really all I can say. Gonna get this one out of the way. Donda 2, an accessible, half-baked, honestly pretty embarrassing release from someone who used to be one of the most consistently exciting artists of the past 2 decades. If Ye's career never recovers, it's a pretty sad way to go out. I kind of agree. I mean, I did do a review of the project that acknowledged its half-baked qualities and its obvious flaws and faults and just how unfinished it was generally, but it was still holding out hope and thought there was like potential in a lot of the ideas presented, which it's true there are, but it's pretty clear that Kanye music-wise is not going to complete this album. He's probably going to continue to go downhill. Obviously, with his recent public statements that we don't need to get into right now, he's completely obliterated his career and social standing with anybody that has 2 brain cells to rub the fuck together. Yeah, given that that is just the project we are going to get, Donda 2 it makes the album feel even crappier. Like this is literally it. This is all that it's ever going to be. Honestly, Nevermind is as bad as an album possibly could be without becoming noteworthy or interesting on account of its badness. Yeah, things can be so bad they become special or interesting, like in the case of Corey Feldman. But I suppose Drake's album, Honestly Nevermind, is awful. Yes, it is awful. It is boring. It is uninspired. It is soulless. It is badly mixed and mastered at points. It is lazily thrown together. There's little to no songwriting going on. It feels like he's just fucking riffing on many of the tracks. I try and picture a worse album, and all I can imagine is the same thing but longer, and every song is about why you should invest in cryptocurrencies. No such thing as bad music. Sorry. Well, wise guy, since what is and what is not bad music is completely and utterly subjective, yeah, there kind of is bad music, according to me, according to other people. But on top of it, I didn't ask you what music was bad. I asked you what made for the worst music of the year, which if you have 10 albums drop in a week and all of them are a 10 out of 10 except one, which is like a 9 out of 10, which isn't like perfection, but still good, that album is technically the worst album of the week. Something doesn't even need to be bad for it to be the worst, technically. All the people who've been featured in this video so far, they could have loved all these records that we're talking about. They just happen to think that they're not as good as all the other amazing albums that dropped.
So shut up.
This was definitely not the worst album of 2022. Nav's baby voice is not weird and cringy. It elevates his performance and helps him connect to a younger audience. I don't think Nav has, these days anyways, as much of a baby voice as much as he just has like a little guy voice. You know, he's just a cute little guy. And I just want to give him a hug. I want to give him a big old hug. Jack Harlow, if anything, because Dua Lipa is the creepy and unnecessary song of the year. Yeah, but it's like literally one of only a couple songs on the album that's like catchy and legit listenable from front to back. I don't so you have to kind of give it to that song. The Jack Harlow record I wouldn't say is the worst of the year though. It just has like basically no interesting or cool songs on it. The production is very average and very mid, and while I do like Jack's smooth little white boy flow, that's cool, that's fine, that has brought him pretty far. He actually like needs to start barring up at least a little bit, not to the point where he's like, you know, ready for a cypher or, you know, a rap battle or anything like that, but at least be kind of clever here and there. And on top of it, he really needs to hire some songwriters as well to like, you know, get these tracks the fuck together. Like, you know, interpolating a Fergie song in 2022 is like not it. Haven't listened, but I don't need to. Yeah, this fucking Tom McDonald album with the Calhoun guy on it. Don't be woke. It's a joke. Guarantee that's a rhyme on the album. Do you think they've explored each other's bodies? Fantano Boss, you need to review this. The track Head is an ironic masterpiece. Really the whole album is, but it is indeed an experience like no other. Look, I don't entirely disagree. I think the Island Boys had a pretty interesting album despite them being like one of the biggest jokes of the year. There are some tracks on this record that are relatively interesting, at least more interesting than you would think, given that they kind of, you know, erupted onto the scene with like, I'm an island boy. Like, guys who do that you don't think are musically going to go very far, and obviously the Island Boys are not going to go musically very far or far in any sense whatsoever. Like they're currently spinning down the toilet bowl as we speak. But like with that being said, this album here is not all that bad. It's not all that bad. There's some interesting moments on it, but like here's the thing. It didn't really matter how good the album was or wasn't going to be. Like through their business dealings, their interviews, their social media antics, and just the fact that they kind of, you know, rode in on this novelty wave to begin with, their hype was dead on arrival. Like they obviously look and act like complete and utter jokes. No one was ever going to take them seriously, even if they came out with the greatest album of all time, which this isn't, but I don't think it's like the worst either. Oh, will of the people, the will of the people. The concept album is executed so incredibly poorly, not to mention Matt Bellamy's vocal performance across the entire album is genuinely embarrassing. I'd like to say this is as bad as it gets. Watching Muse go down this downward spiral is not a good sign. I'd really have to think on this one, but yeah, the Muse record is truly awful. Maybe it is the worst, if not... Yeah, maybe it is the worst. Like, there's some truly shitty songs on this record that are just all kinds of goddamn fucking annoying. Jesus. I have said this before, and I will repeat myself. I'm pretty sure this album is a CIA psyop to prevent people from thinking that, like, rebellion or questioning the system is cool or a good idea. Just make Muse have an album where, you know, they make that sort of shit look like really weak and, like, lame, bro. Caring about the will of the people, isn't that, like, shit that band Muse cares about? The sheer amount of talent that was misused and squandered on God Did is appalling on its own, but equally infuriating is that it got rewarded for its mediocrity simply because of name recognition, abysmal structure, average production, and pure awfulness all around. Yes, Queen. It's just like a big fat blockbuster movie that has everyone's favorite star in it, and we all know going into the theater it's gonna suck fucking ass, but we all go there because we all want to see our guy. We all want to see our guy do whatever thing our guy is going to do in this giant, fat, ugly, horribly written, over-budgeted piece of shit. And that is literally the only thing keeping DJ Khaled afloat right now. That and people who have little to no taste and go into those records just grabbing whatever tracks on there are kind of decent and re-listening to them. Which, like, big mistake, buddy. All you're doing is just enabling this behavior further. Just listen to the core tracks from those artists that you already know you enjoy. Like, can we just end the DJ Khaled fucking plague now? Then we have a bunch of like Black Eyed Peas takes for their new records. I didn't even listen to that album. Maybe if I'm gonna do like a worst albums of the year list, I need to listen to it. But really, I have not listened to the record, mostly because I am tired of being disappointed by the Black Eyed Peas. Like, so many of their albums have sucked ass up until this point. I just can't take it anymore. I can't take it. I've given up. I've given up on expecting anything good to come out of a Black Eyed Peas album. And I think that is, frankly, a sign of growing up. That's going to be it for this Let's Argue. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it. It's been fun. It's been good. It's been great going over these takes. Worst albums of the year, baby! 2022, another year in the can! Let's go! Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, worst albums year 2022 forever.